Boom, boom, boom. Week 14 is upon us. About to hit y'all with some Yahoo DFS. This is a league that we're actually in together, but we're going to work some things out. Starting things off, what's your lock of the week, bro?
Lock of the week. Let's go Justin Jefferson, man. We got that Detroit game. I'm personally looking at that as the staple this week. I'm looking at Minnesota, Detroit Lions, high scoring game. One of the worst defenses in the league, man. I like Justin Jefferson, man. So that's my guy this week for the lock. Now, seeing that we're gonna roll like that, what do you think about the Justin Jefferson pick in general? What you thinking?
To be honest, that was easily going to be my lock of the week, but I had a number 2 because I figured we were on the same side of things. Same game. Let me get Amon-Ra, St. Brown, potential shootout.
See, I like Amon, man, for real. Like, he finally getting over he did get injured like last week, but I think he should be all right this week. But I think that should be a nice high output game this week, man. So I'm definitely loving that pick. So 40.
What do you have?
I like those 2 picks right there, for sure.
What did you find as far as like the best value for the price, in your opinion?
So it was 2 positions, right? So I'm looking at the running back spot this week, and even though it was the same game, I'm looking at a DeAndre Swift for $16, right? Now, I was looking at plenty of darts, so I came all the way down to Leonard Fournette. He's at $13 for Shaw White, but I'm like, they're also going against San Fran, which is a tough matchup. Can't take that risk, right? Gallup again for $12 against Houston Texans, but they surprisingly have a nice pass defense. And I kind of stuck on DeAndre Swift this week, I ain't going to lie. And I could talk about a tight end position, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I think DeAndre Swift for $16 was kind of my dart this week. Did you have any darts that you was thinking of? Who you thinking?
No, I think value-wise, Swift makes a lot of sense here. $16, he finally got some touches. And honestly, like, I don't think there's a player in the league that can do as much as he can with a limited amount of touches.
Right.
He's so explosive.
And it's crazy because I kind of just look like from the bottom. I'm like, who do I like value? And especially when I was thinking running back, I looked at him being $16. And I'm like, that's about the lowest I'm willing to go without the risk. And he's also a guy who, like, as long as he get the touches, he's productive. Only downside to Swift was that he wasn't getting the touches. Jamal Williams in the red zone, but seeing him finally get that uptick, and if that continues, it's a nice trend. I think that's a nice investment for this week.
And assuming it's a shootout like we think it'll be, I think this is the highest implied over-under on the week, so he should see 5 or 6 targets at a minimum, and he just breaks loose when that happens.
Yeah, I love this game. It's crazy because even with Jefferson, I was looking at Hockenson. I'm like, Hockenson. But I'm kind of glad we agree on the Jefferson part, man. But yeah, I think it's a good game this week to go ahead and stack up if you like it a lot.
And I want to point out, too, so if you want to bet someone to drop 2 tubs this week, I think it's got to be Jefferson because he's sitting at 6 on the year, and he hasn't had that big game yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's due for
like the game. So I like that a lot. I kind of talked about it, and I've been waiting on it, and I don't know why Carolina hasn't started Sam yet, but I think he's finally going to unlock DJ Moore.
So Sam Darnold this week. Okay. No, it's crazy. It's crazy you said that because okay, so we're on the same page. I like DJ Moore this week. Now I was able to just kind of sit back and we're still talking about value, and I like what he did last week. Obviously, new quarterback, Baker, he's out the door now. Sam, I think you was all over the Sam pick anyway. Like, you was like, Sam, DJ Moore. I know DJ Moore, your guy. As soon as Sam gets in there, obviously we see the productiveness. So, yeah, I got to roll with it, man. So you caught this one a couple weeks out, though. So I'll give you that. I like that.
All right. You want to graze over tight end position?
So for tight end, right? And it's crazy because I know how, man, we got the same thought process when it comes to tight end, man. We had the episode last week where I didn't want to go low. I was like, look, let's pay up. Let's go ahead and get a game we think going to go crazy. And the Kansas City and Cincinnati game, it had a lot of high output, but Travis Kelce didn't do what we expected to do that week. You know what I mean? So this week I'm kind of on the opposite end of that. For some reason, it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? And this week now I'm looking for safe floor high upside. And my guy this week will be Greg Dortch. Only because, I'm looking at the guys on the lower end. I'm like, who do I trust? I can't trust the Jonnu Smith, even though I like them against, in that matchup right there. I'm looking at Conklin, all these guys underneath of it. Higbee, you can't really trust them. But him, seeing that Courtland Sutton went out last week, he was able to lead the team in receiving. The matchup is not too bad. Middle of pack defense that he's going against. I like Greg Dortch this week, man. $13. Can he just get us at least 10 points, maybe even a little bit higher upside in that safe floor? I feel like this is a guy you may can trust, but you ain't got to spend a lot on. So let's go with value right here.
I like that too. That's a lot of value up front. And I want to point out Nathaniel Hackett mentioned that they view him as a receiver, not a tight end. So let me get that. Running back, I got one I think we can both agree on, and it's got to be Tony or Zeke. Tony, you're going to rely on big playability.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, of course, I knew we was thinking the same thing. It was between, I know Houston. Obviously, I'm looking at the run defense, seeing how that plays out, and I really like. It was the Cincinnati game. And I'm looking at Joe Mixon against Cleveland. Obviously, they give up a lot of yards. And Perine, but I don't know what's going to happen that way. Will Joe Mixon return? Will Perine be the guy? I like what Perine has done in his, his short stint as a star running back. I do like it. So, but without being able to trust that, I definitely was looking at Tony Pollard. But it's like, do you pay the 30? You know what I mean? And he could explode. You know what Tony does. Or do you rely on a guy like Zeke he has a very safe floor as long as he's healthy. He's healthy. He got the burst. He's looking good. He will get the red zone touches. I can count on him to at least give me 1, maybe even 2 this week. So I think you're looking at anything from like 12 points to 18 for Zeke this week.
Yeah, I think the floor for Zeke is probably 12. Ceiling is probably 20, to be honest.
Facts.
Tony, you're looking at a floor of like maybe 5 to 7 with a ceiling of, 30? 35,
40, 30. Like
40.
You never know. Like he's an explosive guy, but you don't want to pay that 30 and then end up with a 10 or a 7. You know what I mean?
Right.
You never want to be on the wrong side with Tony Pollard, but you never know, man. I think both. I wouldn't be surprised if both have a good game, but you be in a situation where Tony and Zeke has an even type game, and if you can get a guy for $6 less, maybe you got a better chance to build your roster. So that's just why I personally chose Zeke this week.
There's 3 things I know to be true: death, taxes, and player running back against Houston.
And it did last week. You know what I mean? You seen how the running backs played out. So yeah. Right.
Well, and to be honest, I looked at Perine immediately, and I thought that was the move. But I mean, Chubb still went for 80, right? So he had a good game statistically. He just didn't have a good game in fantasy.
Facts. And then I thought Derrick Henry would have a great night against Philly, but that's the thing when you paying high dollar for these running backs. I think you want a guy who can receive as much as run the ball a little bit, and then maybe even in the type of offense that they at least get down the field and it's highly productive and they get some red zone touches. With Tennessee, it makes sense. Right. You didn't know how they would move the ball. You just expected him to run it, and then Chubb, we didn't. The Texans, I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, I thought he would run all over them. We never thought, as far as the Deshaun Watson thing, a little revenge game, things happen, a little change of dynamic and things like that. But I think this week, I like the value of a Zeke or a Tony Pollard, whichever side you want. I like both. I'm going to be honest. I like both of them.
I'm down to take Zeke here, but I do want to point out if Mixon does happen to sit out, I'm willing to remove Zeke for Perine without an issue.
Okay. We can revisit this later in the week for sure. I like Perine. Productive.
Moving on, are you trying to build a stack at quarterback, or what do you have in mind there?
At the quarterback position, I kind of just looked at it bottom up, right? And I'm looking at matchups. Jalen Hurts, obviously, you can't go wrong with that. $39, especially for what we have left. You got to be kind of mindful of what we got going on here. I like Geno Smith. But the only thing that kind of deterred me was do you pay $31 right there? And I happened to just look at Kirk Cousins going against that nice matchup with Detroit, which was my stack with a Justin Jefferson. Dak touchdown dependent game. I think they'll be a run heavy. So my guy this week was Kirk Cousins. Oh, and then I thought about Tyler Huntley, but then first game, Mike Tomlin, I just didn't like the the upside. Too many questions, you know what I mean? I'm trying to play it safe this week.
Right.
At the same time, build something productive. So my guy this week would be Kirk Cousins. Who you got this week?
You know I'm rolling with Uncle Sam this week. I've been waiting on this move, and I didn't have the guts to do it last week against Denver, but I think statistically he had the best passing game against Denver this season.
If he can do that, that's crazy. He actually was decent.
He can do that against them, then I think without a doubt he can do that against Seattle. So it's kind of up to you. You want to spend 30 or 22? Because I can rock with Kirk as well to just have a stack in here.
I actually like that. Just looking at cheapest and best value. So looking down at Sam Darnold for 22, I don't like anybody above that until it gets to Kirk Cousins. As strange as that sounds. So, I'm looking at a Kenny Pickett, Purdy. I ain't gotta go through the list, but y'all can see. I think the next guy in line maybe Goff in that game. You know what I mean? You got the Goff and Minnesota matchup. That could be a possibility, but I actually like Sam Darnold this week. It depends on what you want to do with this flex spot, for real. Flex spot, defense. Yeah, man, it depends on how we're going to play it, but I'm okay with Sam this week, man. You got a guy who's $22. It's his second start. The reason why he's so cheap, good matchup. You can build your roster out, still get your 20 points. I like it. I like it.
Hear me out here. What if we rock with Sam right here for 22, and we take Dallas's defense for 22 and pay all the way up for that?
Okay, let's see what that look like, man.
All right.
Dallas against Houston. Them boys be getting after it, man. I do want to see the stat output Dallas been putting out these past couple of weeks. Can I get a look at that? Okay, so we got 24, 16, 5. Now the thing is, do you want to pay 22 for that? I like the matchup. I do. And it's crazy. It happens every week. I think last week, Cleveland dropped 32, 34 points last week.
It was crazy.
They was up there. And
we got 48 sacks on the year.
Oh yeah. And they finally getting takeaways to go with it. I like it.
Or
is Kyle Allen still starting?
As of now, I believe so. Or how do you feel about Pittsburgh for 12 against Huntley?
Now, I like what you're thinking there. I like Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin. I think everybody's on the Huntley side. At home, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it a dirty game. And you got to think about it. Baltimore offense in general hasn't looked as great. It's been a Lamar Jackson thing that's kind of kept that thing looking kind of where it needed to be. They don't really have the weapons right now. And you know what's crazy? 22, $10 less. They could have the type of game, especially getting a TJ Watt back, and that might be all right. And also, let's see, $12 there. Now, so depending on what you want to do with the flex, that's what I'm thinking now. Are you willing to pay down for the flex? And if not, I like Cincinnati for 11. I ain't gonna lie. Cincinnati going against Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, second game back. Only 1 week of practice. Still a little rusty. The only downfall to that is will Nick Chubb have one of those type of games that kind of bring us back down to to reality a little bit. As far as
it is a big possibility. But they might have to abandon the run if Joey B does his thing. You know what I mean? So
I said let's roll with Pittsburgh, man, to see what we can do with the flex, man.
All right. So let's see what we got
some high
available.
Output, man. I like $22 is a lot for a defense, man. I just feel like high upside, man. I kind of like that.
Just looking at kind of what's available. Ooh, bro, hear me out. What if we move off of this Pittsburgh move? That gives us 32 and we can take McCaffrey. Purdy might end up being checked down. Charlie at home.
Look, let's roll. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. With Purdy in there. I like it, bro. I think, look, we got a chance to explore right there. So, because what else would we have had Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. The next thing down was Tony Pollard. I like that, man. So we got Cincinnati, one of the best pass defenses in the league against Deshaun Watson. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, 32. He finally going to explode. I think he exploded last week for a little bit, but I think going into this week, he should be more the game plan, a little uptick. I like it. I like it this week.
I like this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's a little better than the output of last week, but we were on the right path last week. Players let us down.
Yeah. I like the matchups though, especially this Minnesota and Detroit game, man. I think we got a lot of players that can go in and explode for us this week, man. DJ Moore for the 15, man. That's nice. I like that.
I assume his price will be up next week and start moving up with Sam at the helm.
Yeah, for sure. Let's
So
just
we're
go.
going to lock this in.
Let's lock up, bro. Let's get this money, man. How Vince McMahon say, let's get that money, man.